Welcome to a new video. As you saw in the title, I assure you that the video will be values. Because in this video, I will teach you the basics of Blender, and not only that, I will make you design something while you watch me so that it will be a practical experience. The star of this episode will be David. I will teach you how to do that in Blender, and make David more exciting with the additions that we will put in it. Of course, if you want to download a David, you must follow the link in the description. You also need to download a Blender to continue with the steps. I will put it in the description as well. Before anything else, let us begin by explaining the Blender interface. It consists of a cube, lighting, and a camera. And now you will ask me why I use. This is the basic Blender interface, because, quite simply, Blender explains to you that there is number 3D design with the presence of these things. We have a number of destinations so that we can design on Blender. I will simplify them for you quickly so that we can begin our own design. The first is the modeling, and this is to modify the design. The second is sculpting, and this is to sculpt the shapes that have complex features or sins. The third is UV editing, and this is very important because it is responsible for the definition of the place of the texture on the object surface. The fourth is stir paint, and this is for me a drawing on the texture. The fifth and last for me is the episode today is shading, and this is to define what kind of raw is made from the object. This was a very quick summary. I hope you enjoyed it. It's okay if you still don't understand. And now let's start editing David. Let's start adding David, then we reduce its size is not very large. First we will start with Edit Mod. Here you have a tape full of tools that make it easier for you to work, withdraw, press, and so on. You also have 3 buttons that mean angle, edge and face, which means that the first option to determine the points that are the corners of the square. And the second option means that it defines the ends of the cube. And the last one means that it defines the faces of the cube. Now that's enough, and let's start cutting David's face into a slanted part, so that it will be the skull cavity. After we divide it in this way, we pull this part to the top. Then we select these long faces, and delete it. For its price, we move to sculpt mode. Then we are softening them so that the edges are straight. After that, we return to the edit mode, which selects all the edges that have been carved. And we press the keyboard on the letter F in order to fill these voids. Now we add the skull that is present with the David link. Now try to balance the size and angle of the skull so that it matches the hollow in David's face. Now, we will start adding this dish of gold around the neck of David. To add anything, you must click on Add, or use this shortcut on the keyboard, which is Ctrl+A. Then we click on Mesh. We choose Plane. This is what we need so far to complete our work. Of course, if you want to add anything, now you know how. Now, we try to set the square surface with David's neck. I will teach you an advanced trick on the regular level so that it will be easy for you. If you want to move anything with the area you want to attach it to, you must activate these settings. First you see where I click, select it, then choose the face nearest. Thus, when you move or add anything, it will stick to the object you are working on. To the next step, we will move to a very important tool that is full of uses, which is modifiers, which I will not be able to explain all of in this video, but if I want to make a video for it, just tell me in the comments. We will add shrink wrap, and this will stick the object to the other one. Then we add a subdivision, and this to softens the object. Then we add sphere, and this is to be the eyes. Of course, if you want to copy it, you should select it and press Shift+V, and put it in the place you want. Also, if you want to smooth any offset, right-click, and choose Shade Smooth. Now, with the texture on David, instead of explaining to you how to use the texture node and the shading, and so on, I will only make you choose the texture you want and use it. This is done only by using add-ons. Now you will ask me what add-ons are. Add-ons are a way to add additional tools to Blend that make it easier, and that is why Blend is open source. The add-ons that we will download are called BlenderKit, which I will put a download link in the description. The way to install it in Blender is very easy. First, when you open the website, you will find a download link. Oh, there is already an explanation on how to download it. But we will continue. After downloading it, you will find a zip file. Do not unzip it, just copy it to a place where you can keep it so that it is not deleted. After that, open Blender with me and click on Edit. After that, we choose Add-ons, search for what we downloaded, and activate it. Now this new bar will appear for you. I will put on the screen the names of the textures that I used to add. After I embrace it, we change the colors from Shading tab. Now, I will explain to you how to make the eyes glow gradually. This is clearly dependent on the materials that we will add to. And to add anything, we click on New. Here we have Principle BSDF, and it is essential in identifying materials. As you can see here, if we separate the leaders of the material output, we find that the object has its texture. We learned that in order for whatever the texture that you want to make must end with his contact with material output. Here in base color we can control the color of the object as we want. In metallic, when you raise it, it makes the object more like a metal. And in roughness, when we change it, it determines the degree of brightness of the object. Now let's return everything as it was. To start with the texture that we want to create, we first add the mix shader, and from its name we know that it combines two shades. Then we add emission, and this controls the brightness of the object. If you do not see the brightness of the object, this is due to the basic Blender settings. To change this, you just have to activate ray tracing from scene. As you can see, the eyes begin to glow, and when we change the perspective to the render perspective, you will see them more clearly. Now let's add texture to the skull. I chose gold material. We also add the same materials to the episode on his neck. Then we move to Edit Mod and select David's two quarries and paste the same materials to them. This is done by clicking on the ball at the bottom. Then pressing the plus symbol, then pressing Deselect. Selecting the golden materials, and then clicking Assign. Now with a small task, you should do it on your own. I have put on the David file 3 episodes consisting, you just have to put them inside each other. And you grow up behind David, and put them a mixture between the glowing texture and the texture of the gold. Now, we will move on to drawing. We will draw these geometric and random shapes on David. First, we will go to UV editing and select all of David's faces. This is the abbreviation of the letter A. Then we press UV, choose Enrab, and press Smart UV Project. Then confirm it with the blue button. To move to the drawing, we start by opening Texture Paint and choosing the image of David's texture. Here we will modify the existing brush to create one to create these hexagonal shapes for us. First, we choose this button in the form of squares. Then we press New. And now we press Open. We choose the picture that you left with the David file. Then we open the brush settings. We then choose Texture, and we click on Stencil. Now you are able to print the shape as it supplies, and you have many tools for drawing to use it. And now with the animation, it is a very simple matter. All you have to do is select the objects you want, press to the right, and choose Insert Keyframe, and a yellow dot will appear. Then we move the counter a little, change the movement of the object, and do what we did again. It will show you a very soft and smooth movement. Or you can try an easier method, which is to activate the red circle at the bottom. Whenever you move something while it is activated, the new movement will be automatically saved. We go back and do this by our own design. Now, with the final touches, do you remember how to add things in Blender? Search for a camera, then click on it and put it in a suitable position. Of course, If you want to see from the camera's perspective, you have to click on this little camera button. After we have put the camera, you will face a problem that you will move from the presence of the rend. You will find everything dark, and there is no light. All this simply because we did not know the place where David finds. We do this with the following steps. We will press the ball that is at the bottom, and this is the symbol of the world in Blender. Then we press the yellow circuit next to the color. We choose environment texture, then press open. And you are looking for a large picture written on it, HDRI. And you will find it with David download file. And now, after we finished Blender faces and the basic tools you need in Blender in order to make simple models. I hope that you have learned something valuable. And if you encounter any question, you can leave a comment or send me on the Instagram. And for the information of Blender is full of tools and many things and cannot be covered in one video. But you learned something if you trained it. You will be good in Blender. Now you must first go to this icon. From here, you can change the resolution. And you can determine the video time you want. And the place of storage. And if you press PNG, then choose video. And now if you want to see the last result, all you have to do is press Ctrl plus F12. Or press the word render that is above. This is everything in this video. Enjoy.